I have to play chess on my phone because no one at home's smart enough to play me.
Words with friends is me.
I'll put up my hand and say, at least one person in this room isn't smart enough to play with you here either.
I mean, if it's checkers, I will kick your ass. But chess, nah, no.
What about the Star Trek chess? Whatever that's called. What's that called?
Oh, the three-dimensional chess.
He still doesn't know which way the pieces go.
I've played Star Trek checkers though. That's pretty good. It's Federation
okay.
versus Romulans. Kick their ass every time.
I mean,
Board game.
Is that a Star Trek reference? Do you...
Up to you.
Yeah, box of shame.
I mean, fair to say, I won't be saying much.
We haven't
in this
had one for a
episode,
while.
We
so-
haven't pulled out a box of shame for a while.
Shame.
Well, it's because I told you, like, I didn't expect. I only had a few episodes where I needed it. I just didn't expect everyone to just like put so much stuff in there.
Yeah, but the fans are missing out. As are we.
Only because there's nothing really else to talk about in this episode. I'll do one later.
Get Into Gates, episode 84. We're talking Stargate SG-1 and a real highlight. Oh, I was going to say highlight. That would be a pun. I didn't mean
nice.
that. That's stupid. Well,
A low light.
Rewind, cut again. We're talking, low light, highlight, whatever. We're talking the light, unfortunately, depending on which hat you're wearing. My name is Mitch. Joining me, the full Get Into Gate team. We got Matty. Thank you for being here, because last week you said you were going to take the week off. We did drag your ass in here.
I didn't know we were doing sound effects.
Okay, Brendan.
Hi.
Oh, I was hoping you might just
Oh, mouth one?
That's the
something
sound
with your
effect of a
mouth.
douchebag.
Mouth one.
It's not at all what I was expecting. It was probably odds-on favourite, but it wasn't what I was expecting. Rhys, what's doing?
Oh, g'day, guys.
All right, let's
Jesus.
Thanks. There's my fans I brought in this week.
Soundboard just going crazy.
I just dropped...
Sorry.
Go.
I just dropped something. My guts.
Bit of Caliban still, yeah.
Here's the soundboard for Brendan.
Oh, wow. What was that, like 8 minutes? I mean, how long's the comeback have to be?
How long have we got?
If I wanted to come back, I'd wipe it off your chin.
Oh. Yeah.
Welcome to 2004, where that was a fresh joke.
All right, let's check out what this episode's
Jimmy
about
Carr.
and see exactly why Maddie wasn't going to be here initially, and then see whether Rhys thought differently. The Light. SG-1 travels to a planet to investigate a machine that induces narcotic pleasure. But when they try to leave the planet, they are overcome with debilitating withdrawal symptoms, forcing them to stay. Can they free themselves from this addiction before it consumes them completely?
Well, that's absolute bullshit right there.
Look, a little bit.
There was no withdrawal.
Well, they did, they did refer to it towards the end.
Didn't they all die from the withdrawal process?
Well, here's what
Killed
I don't
themselves.
get is Lieutenant Barber and Daniel Jackson, if they were both suffering from withdrawal, wouldn't they want to go back there? But literally the Stargate was opening for Lieutenant Barber to go back to the planet.
No, it was opening to come... SG-1 were coming home.
No,
they were
going back.
Carter was shaping up.
Remember because there was the bet? They put the bet on that Carter was going to go there or whatever, so Carter went
Oh,
there.
okay. Oh, yeah, that's confusing because the next scene, Jackson's walking down the ramp. That's why I thought...
Yeah, no, that's obviously the cut where they'd
okay.
contacted them and said, hey, something's happened, you got to come back, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. So it's like Lieutenant Barber was literally seconds away from being back to this thing that he's, according to that synopsis, craving and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that that's what he's craving.
Yeah, I think at
And
the
he
end
kills
when
himself.
O'Neill said to Carter, "You've got withdrawals," she goes, "Well, I've got withdrawals," and he's like, "Yeah, and so do I." I think it was O'Neill, and that's what I love about O'Neill. Like he was a little bit more aware of what was going on. Like he's got enough sense that if he's being corrupted like he is in this, he's got enough sense to sort of, it's like he can pull himself back a little bit and be
Because
real.
he was on the Junkin KC back in the day.
He's seen it all before. So I think maybe they were having withdrawals, but they weren't aware of it. They just knew that they had to, if in the case of Barber, one and done Barber, that he just knew he had to jump into that course. That was the best.
But then Daniel was the same. It's like Daniel was all antsy to go back. He had to go back to the planet. He had to go back to the planet. He had to go
Not
back.
initially.
Yeah.
Like he was hanging off the
at the
balcony
base.
first.
No,
Before
no.
that.
Oh,
No,
before that, was he?
remember? Because
Yeah.
he was like, remember he was up with Hammond and he's like, we've got to go back. And it's like, let's go back down. I was like, no, you can go.
Yeah, but
you can go back tomorrow.
I think for me it was still too recent. Whereas for Barber, I feel like had he been off base longer than what
48
Daniel had,
hours, I think.
yeah. Whereas Daniel had only just gotten back.
But that's what I'm saying is so there's that addiction.
Yeah.
Like he has to go back.
No, but he didn't know that he needed to go back to get his fix. He wanted to go back because of the remote control wouldn't work on base. So he's like, it must only work while we're there. So I need to go there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't because he needs.
He's got to go back. So there's that addiction. He wants to go back there.
No. He wants to go back to get the remote to work. He's just frustrated and angry, and he doesn't know that he's got an addiction. He's just frustrated and angry, and people are like, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
He wants to go back because the remote didn't work. He wanted
then-
the remote to work because he's fucking fixated on it.
Right, and then 2 hours later, he's ready to commit suicide over it. Like, not even over that. He's like, nothing matters. It doesn't matter. And he's standing over the balcony.
Yeah.
For me, that was like a focus point. Like the remote
that's
is
my
his focus
point.
Mate, I'm talking from experience here.
But that's my point.
An alcoholic for so many years.
So if he's going through withdrawal, so the entire first day he wanted to go back, even if it's just to get this device to work. He wants to go back, he wants to go back. Then they're like, no, wait till tomorrow. No, let's go now. No, wait till tomorrow. We get to tomorrow. He could have been, like, when the reason he's standing on the balcony, like, Jack has to go and find him because he's late. They should have already been off-world. Daniel could have already been on the planet fulfilling that need he had to go back there to get that device to work. But instead, he's on the balcony ready to commit suicide.
Yeah, because he's
Like,
going
I
through
don't-
the withdrawal.
mood swings, mate.
It's like when let's
all
go
part
to
of
the
it.
pub. Let's go to the pub. Nah, tomorrow. And you're like, fuck it, what's the point?
Yeah, like when you wake up at
Kill
8 a.m.
myself.
and the pub's not open, and you're like, what the fuck? This is fucking bullshit.
But my point is he could have been on the planet. He could have actually been on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but he didn't know that that's what he was addicted to either.
No, I think I understand what you guys, you Brendan and Rhys are just suggesting, and it only dawned on me now that you've said it, is that, yeah, his withdrawal stage had gotten to a different level where it wasn't that drive anymore, it was just depression.
Yeah.
But, look,
Like,
I guess...
he was addicted and he was on a high, and now he's going through withdrawal, which is causing the
hitting the low.
depression.
All we can say is thanks, James Phillips, because we shouldn't even be having these
No, we
arguments. We
shouldn't.
should know exactly what the answer is. He's the writer of this episode, and it's good we're going to see him come back. No,
But yeah, kinda-
he's done now.
One
This
and
is his
done.
one and done episode.
See you later,
He's
mate.
basically
Sorry, James.
Barber. What I love about the way that this episode started
Chuck him in the gorge.
is it like it opens with Barber, right? You look at this guy, you're like, who's this guy? And then like, hey, Barber, and then like, hey, we're mates, we've known each other for ages. And then he goes to run to the caution, and O'Neill's like, Barber. Then Jackson comes back, he's like, dude, Barber's dead. And I'm like, who the fuck is
Yeah.
Barber?
But you know-
and why do I care?
You know why Jack was so upset when he's like, Barber? It's because he had his $100 in his pocket.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Barber's dead. I swear I gave him the 100. I did.
Yeah. At least Barber was considerate enough, though, to sort of do the leap so that his feet were taken up in the Corsh as well,
Yeah,
so
they
there was
didn't
no
have to
clean up.
Yeah.
There was no cleanup.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's
Because
considerate.
Jackson was just going to jump off the balcony. Like, that's a hectic
Oh,
cleanup.
he could have wrecked someone's car. You know,
Selfish.
it's just selfish.
It was, yeah.
Sorry, just the idea that he was upset because of that $100. Like Barber said, we're going to be, yeah, $100 was in his pocket. So that great one, that like completely off topic of Stargate, but in the first Thor movie, when like S.H.I.E.L.D. come in and take all of Natalie Portman's like expensive equipment, and then you've got Line, what's her name, the comedic relief from
Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls, and she's like, just took all my equipment. She goes, yeah, my iPod was part of that. And she's like, yeah, but all these equipment, like I'm about to discover like how to travel across the galaxy in wormholes. Maybe it's not that off topic with Stargate. She's like, all this expensive equipment, I'm going to have to rebuild it. Just downloaded like 30 new songs on that thing. It's like, it's not the point. But now I believe that now. Actually,
Jack's like,
Barber
after
should
all
have
that
handed
money I had, I just finished paying back all that money I owed to Hammond from 1969 with all that interest, and now I'm at another $100. Jesus.
He
I could have
goes
bought
to-
booze with that.
Goes to Barber's funeral, and he goes up to his parents. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. He had $100 of mine in his wallet. I'm just wondering if
Here's
I
a
can grab
tax
that off
invoice. Just take
Yeah.
care of that whenever you get a chance.
when he can. Like, there's no rush.
By the
I'll
end of
just-
the week,
I'll
it'd be
just
fine.
leave-
Obviously.
I'll just leave it on the empty coffin instead of flowers.
Just a
There's
bill.
nothing in the coffin.
Like, because he's such high profile and, you know, like top secret stuff, the Air Force have to go to his apartment and search through all these things. And O'Neill's like, yeah, I'll volunteer for that. I'll volunteer for that, sir.
Picking the change out
Get
of his
his
top
loose
drawer.
Well, Rhys, we've sort of, I guess, summed up our thoughts, but you, like, hardline question, the light. Maddie was obviously talking it up last week as being one of the low points of season 4. One of the very few low
possibly
points.
the low point of
Yeah.
the season.
What did you think? Were you as negative on it as what we are?
Yeah, look, I didn't hate the episode. I don't think there's too much substance to it. We've seen the addiction thing before with Jackson with the sarcophagus, but yeah, I didn't mind it with that young kid,
Lauren.
and the massive lava lamp. I thought that was that was a pretty cool little storyline, and how fucked up he was with his parents killing themselves and that sort of shit. But there's a little bit of mystery behind it. But yeah, there wasn't too much that really happened. Got addicted to something and then found out a way to get unaddicted.
It's like the episode's The Light, and it's all about the light, and the light's so addictive, and at the end, it's not the light.
It's totally not the light.
The light's just basically a lava lamp. It's just something to stare at while you're getting stoned.
Yeah.
But I did, like there's not much substance to the episode, but every time when you rewatch SG1, you're like, I've seen this episode, but then you have these little gems like what the characters actually are saying or interaction with each other, and I just enjoyed that. How they walk into the room and Jack's the only one that going, what's going on here? And Teal'c is just zoned in. You would think if anyone was going to be able to break it.
Yeah. Could you ever believe something so simple could be so beautiful? With this big smile on his face.
He smiled.
I feel like you've never said that ever before.
And even when Jack comes back and they're like, all right, just stare at the center of the console, and he's like, whoa, this is dangerous.
Stare through the light that's to the thing producing the light. Yeah, that's a great idea, guys.
and then Carter going, I think like it's around the back here somewhere. We should be okay if we just look over this way. And I'm like, doubt it.
It's a 360 kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I like the fact that they've lost time as well. Like, we're only there for a couple of minutes. It's
cool.
been an hour. Oh shit.
Yeah, I couldn't find much redeemable aspects about this episode. I was just like, everywhere I looked, I'm just like, well, that's not right. Even the casting, like that guy was okay.
Yeah.
But the whole premise is it's like he was supposed to be an adolescent.
Yeah, like 15 or something.
Yeah, he was written as a 15-year-old. So it's like, well, because Carter has that line about, if he's not fully grown, he could be immune to it. He was a fucking 23-year-old actor. Yeah. Like, at no point did he pass for an
15?
adolescent.
Shit, you at least 30.
At least 30. They would have auditioned him with that crying scene, I reckon, and he nailed that, so they would have been like, yeah, you got it. You look young enough.
But it's like, we've had some pretty good child actors. Like, we had little, was it Merrin from Learning Curve?
Yeah.
Cassandra.
And
Shifu last week.
Cassandra.
The new Cassandra, the
We had
Bane chick.
Shifu, Charlie 2.0, even the secondary kid from Learning Curve, the little redheaded kid, who was like one of the producers' kids or something like that. So it's like, we've had good, 10, 12, 15 age bracket kids on the show.
Yeah.
But they've wheeled in this 23-year-old, and it's like, well, the whole point of him being immune to it is that he's an adolescent. And it's like, well, no, he's not much younger than Daniel Jackson. So it's like, well, what's going on, guys?
Now you're just a self-educated 20-year-old bloke who kind of acts like you're 12.
I think that maybe he's just been alone for that long, and maybe he is 20 but still sees himself as a kid, and he's not affected by it just because he was never allowed in that room, so he's never gone in that room. But still
then he went
sees
in the
himself
room.
as a kid.
But then he went in the room and he wasn't affected by it.
When?
Like, remember, he goes into the room and he turns the light machine off.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, he runs in,
That annoyed me. I wanted someone to shoot him. He's like, boys, this is here.
O'Neill just had to just annihilate him. Just break him down to his bare elements.
Yeah.
Good on him. He knew he was hiding something.
I mean, he's a young kid, got an entire planet on his own, so it would have been a bit like Star-Lord's ship. It's like, he probably didn't want to turn that light off because he's worried that you'd get a bit like a Jackson Pollock painting, just all over that castle.
Well, mate, he was hoping for his parents to come back and do it.
Yeah, you think he'd be more interested in like Carter or Daniel, depending what he was into, but it's like,
Teal'c as well. I mean, not
Absolutely.
really at O'Neill either, but I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
Teal'c every day.
You're not looking past Teal'c.
All of them at once.
Depends if he's into Jaffa or not. Who knows?
That's true.
Who isn't?
But yeah, like you think he'd just be like, all right, hello, I'm a horny adolescent child.
Yeah.
And now these people here.
Hump your leg.
No confidence. He'd be in his little room whacking it.
Oh, God, yeah. That's where he was.
Oh, absolutely.
When Daniel was there last time.
And then people walk in.
At least he was considerate enough to wear clothes, unlike old mate Tantalus.
Littlefield.
Yeah.
Oi, don't you think, though, that Lauren is like the shittest gravedigger?
Absolutely. We just chucks a little bit of sand over top of it.
So weak.
It's like, well, that's what you get for naming me Lauren.
Lauren Michaels?
She's going to bury him properly.
Yeah.
That was the... Yeah.
He's a millennial. He's just like, whatever. Did a minimum amount of work.
So that was the guy. I thought that his his story with his parents ended with him watching them like go further and further out into the water, and that was the last he saw of them. And basically, he's just pissed off back to the base, and they've almost washed up. But like it just like
that would have made more sense than him telling the story of and then the next day they washed up on shore, and then I had to bury them. It's like, really?
Yeah, it's just annoying these sort of storylines where the fix is right there. It's just someone just not filling you in on the whole story. Like you've got this untrustworthy narrator or untrustworthy host like he was. Like he's there, he's like, I could switch this off and I could tell you about this other thing, but it's like, oh, were you just lonely? Well, no, it wasn't really that.
I think it was.
I have my toy gun.
Yeah, I got my toy gun. And, it's about your parents. No, they're coming back. It's like, well, you know they're dead. Do you need us to help you through the psychological trauma of loss? No, not really. I'm like, what was the point of you not telling them anything? What was the reason for any of this shit? Like, I like a lot of this episode, little elements here and there, and the idea of like the dangers. Again, this is a massive danger. You go into another planet, like they're looking at a light, and that's making them addicted. They're addicted to a light show.
Oh, SG5 died.
Yeah, SG5 all come back.
All of them.
And I know you joked about it last week, Brendan. They're all Mark Wahlberg. They're happening. Like, it's like, hey guys, there was this light there. Wow, it's really incredible. Should we all go have a look? Yeah. Okay. It's great.
Okay.
Yes, okay. This is amazing. It's just a light. It'll make you want to kill yourself, but you won't even care.
I am very disappointed that they said SG5 instead of 11.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Although, SG11, would we have cared? We were like, whatever, man, you'll have a new team next week.
We'd just be like, classic SG11.
Yeah. But
dead.
This is just another chalk on the Daniel's dead. Remember he flatlines as they take him through the gate? I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Jot that down.
Add that to the tally.
And Fraser, there's no time to resuscitate. Get in there. I'm like, well, you're still traveling. Like maybe hop on top of him while they wheel in the thing and have a crack.
Yeah.
But then when they dial the planet and they send him through and they shut the gate off. I'm like, wouldn't you like wait for the radio to go? Is he okay?
Yeah.
Because like for all that they know, they turn the gate back on. They're all addicted. They're going to jump into the Kawoosh or something. They back on Earth don't necessarily know what's going on. They just know that definitely happened from someone who was affected.
Also, they stop the bloody wheeling the bed in at the bottom of the ramp and then take the time to take all the equipment off. And Neil picks him up. Just wheel him up the ramp and chuck him in like
stairs, bro. Can't get it. They need a proper ramp.
Yeah.
We'll just dig the Stargate into the floor like we said a few weeks ago.
Every other planet does.
Yeah.
We did with Lieutenant Barber appearing though. We did finally get to come full circle on one of our very first Across the Universes.
Oh,
yes.
Hey, did you guys want to know what's been happening?
Across the universe.
Oh, yes, I do. In the back end of season 4, in an episode called The Light, we meet an SG member called Lieutenant Barber.
Oh, the good old wave diver. I know who you're talking about.
Well, his backstory is that in June of 1999, when this episode aired, he was finishing a tour of Operation Allied Force in Kosovo. He'd finished that tour, and his performance in that as like a gunner and all that sort of stuff is actually what piqued the interest of General Hammond, who then recruited him into the SGC.
Whoops.
And that's what's been happening.
Across the universe.
what episode was that from?
I'm just trying to look it up. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. Whoops.
Oh, it doesn't matter. But wow, okay. So like he's got this cool little backstory, and then
that's why I love that so much, because it's just that segment. There's a lot of effort into it with not a lot of payout. It works for me obviously because I know what it is.
That's very cool. Yeah.
And then you guys are like, okay, cool. What's next? But now you know, like that's the joke.
Now, just a little insight into the show. Now,
jumps into a vortex like an idiot.
What an idiot! Is that Maddie gets the majority of the audio that we sample from the show, but generally none of us know what that audio is going to be. So it always gets me when I click a piece of audio and it's a piece of our own podcast playing back.
Like, is this right?
Yeah.
That's why I kind of had to affect it so it sounded different to us talking live. The last time we did it was just like we couldn't tell whether it was happening live or whether it was something.
Even in the edit, that confused the hell out of me, because then some of us are talking in the silent bits of the piece of audio, and it's like the most confusing conversation you've ever heard.
Yeah,
but,
I can't seem to find what
very
episode
cool.
I actually pulled that from, but It was like season 2 or early season 3.
And this is the first time that we've gotten to the payoff of the across the universe, right? Like where you've said, hey, this is what's happening. We'll find out later.
Yeah, the other ones that I've mentioned are like Ronan, which doesn't happen till Atlantis.
Yeah.
Joe Spencer doesn't happen till season 8. Vala doesn't happen till season 7 or 8 / 9.
Yeah, 7.
So this is the first one we've been able to come full circle. Which,
Nice.
Which again is a reference that'll be great in about a season and a half. So
It's funny, as soon as you said full circle, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Shh.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening.
Let's talk about something Rhys will be able to contribute to. Teal'c's birthday coming up.
Oh,
Yeah. 48 days.
47, thanks, mate.
Well, yeah, tomorrow it will be.
But
When this goes
it's
to
like-
air.
Yesterday when I watched the episode.
But then at the end of the episode, they said they had to spend 3 weeks on that planet to come down from the addiction.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's
Well,
getting
Teal'c didn't have
close.
to.
No, but I mean, obviously, the next episode isn't like a week later. It's going to be at least
yeah.
like a month later.
True.
So we're getting, like, his birthday would have to be sort of before the end of the season, I reckon.
Yeah.
When
Which kind of... What was it in the pilot? You know how we played that audio back in? I think it was in season 2, but it was back from season 1 when they filmed the pilot. Did Chris Judge say that Teal'c was 98 or 99 in season 1?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Because to me, I'm going, well, that's 4 years, and I'm pretty sure he said, or maybe he did say 97. But
Maybe he's counting in Chulak years.
Chulak
not
years,
Earth
yeah.
years.
Good call.
Yeah.
Because Abydos years are what, 18 months or something
Well,
like
that's
that
what.
for us?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Are they? Surely they can't be the same.
It turns out
Time
Teal'c
frame
is
for
just
years.
36.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think about this
That's what I'm
episode.
thinking.
It's like Chulak is actually just like in where like Mercury is for us. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
their years are really, really quick.
66 days.
Yeah, so when Bray Tack... Is it?
Sort of make
still
sure that's
confused.
correct.
What do I usually say? Now I'm really confused. Do I say Bray
Braytak is his name.
Braytak,
It's just
and I
sometimes
say
you just say
Braytek.
Braytek.
Tech? That sounds so wrong. I feel like I don't do that, but I must. Otherwise,
just
you
an accent,
never
Matty.
critique
Yeah,
me
it's
for
just,
it.
it's just like it's like Ash when he says Ellen. It's just
Yeah.
It's like we
Ellen-
say
Ellen-
data instead of data. It's
That's because it's
well, I
right.
say Data.
nah.
Nah, see, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, no, see that was a Star Trek reference, but we'll go past that.
Yeah.
Box. Oh, shame.
At least that's
See?
that's 2, I'm pretty sure.
Things like that can sneak by if I don't actually mention them.
Yeah.
Like,
I was thinking about it. but
I
I'm like,
assumed it's just because
Your dad's
half
American.
no, there's a character in Star Trek called Data. He's an android.
Right,
You
it's
just
two
had to,
boxes
you just
of
had to
shame.
go there again, anybody.
I'm doing a box of shame.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're doing 2 of them.
No intro.
No, I'm not.
Box of shame.
Oh, hang on. No, here's the real one.
Just always on the ball, Mitch. Always on the ball.
What are we doing right
You're
now?
welcome. So what are we doing?
Oh, this is perfect. This is great. Oh, we don't have the pan flute music because there is actually a thing that says cue the pan flute.
Remember last week how I said, do you want to get the pan flute audio? Because there's a Patreon thing where you need the pan flute. Oh, I won't need Box of Shame this week.
And I didn't. I needed it this week.
Correct.
Nearly did.
It's fine.
We'll do it in post.
Yeah, here we go. Awareness of gratitude will allow you to savor and, above all, appreciate your life with renewed grace.
I didn't say read a fortune cookie. I said read the box
Hey,
of shame.
it's a box of shame from Melissa Alba.
Yeah.
Suck it, boys. I got away easy this week.
Yeah, sometimes we win and
Ba-da-da-da-da.
sometimes you win.
Well done, though.
Lucky you're doing 2.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dub!
Oh, no.
I feel like you like that now.
Huh?
I feel like you enjoy doing that.
He absolutely does.
What?
The Rick
He knows all the quotes.
Rick Sanchez.
I've seen every episode. Like me, I'm not going to bag something out unless I've actually seen it. That's
Well, I wouldn't
just
have
the
thought
kind
so.
of that's just the kind of guy.
But what
I
if
am.
you watch one season of something that's terrible and you don't continue? Like Sea Patrol.
Because season 2 is when it gets really good because they get a better ship and they change actors.
Yeah.
They get rid of that Josh Lawson
They
guy.
have a tugboat.
He's choked his way through all of Star Trek, so he's proved that correct, that theory.
Yep. So I can tell you the good shows and the bad shows when it comes to Star Trek.
Roseanne.
Yeah, seasons 1.
Gossip Girl.
I
Great
don't watch
show.
Gossip Girl, for fuck's sake. If you're going to pay me out correctly. It's Gilmore Girls.
You can
and it's a good show.
understand our confusion, though.
Mitch, don't interrupt him.
No.
What are we talking about again? The light. What
good
an episode.
Yeah,
Do you want to hear
show.
about how much the actors themselves hated this episode as well?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wheel in the piano, boys.
Jesus, Graham again.
Graham.
Can we afford him?
Sure.
This month?
Around the fire, it's
Don't
time
interrupt, Graham.
for another reading with High Pitch.
I actually almost wheeled him back in again last week. I could have got him twice last week.
Come on, mate. Time's money.
Oh, okay, Jesus. All right.
Well, we
okay.
cut him short last week, so
Yeah,
He owes
we've
us.
got to be owed a few seconds somewhere. I
Yeah,
mean, he'll
well.
still stop after 90 seconds, but
he pays day
Yeah,
rates,
no.
mate.
Yeah. He kicks us in the shins when we do shit like that too. Right?
this is a long one too, so just hunker down.
Which is hard because he's a little person.
Although many would agree that Michael Shanks was totally convincing as the mentally and psychologically disturbed archaeologist in this episode, Shanks himself takes a more pragmatic view. It was one of those things where when you do a character for a long time, particularly over 4 seasons, I had done so much with Daniel and played so many of these types of scenes that, to be honest, I was kind of over it. Just the previous season in Legacy, I'd played a similar suicidal Daniel type in a similar type situation, and in Need the season before that, the confrontation was exactly the same, where he wanted to do something drastic and Jack talked him down. It was almost literally the same thing with me, so for The Light it was more of a challenge to try and find a different way to do the same kind of scene than it was to actually do the journey. Oh geez, that was timed perfectly. Thanks, Graham.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Well
done.
done, Graham.
Jesus, he's paying attention this week.
I do enjoy that scene though where Jack walks in, there's that the phone's off the hook and there's that creepy American off the hook sound. We don't have that in Australia. Yeah.
I think we've
No,
got a
we don't.
variation of it. Or we
Yeah, we
used
don't.
to.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that one.
That
That one's like
time.
Scream.
It's very ominous.
like-
That one.
yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
expecting
It's like-
to find someone dead.
it's like the Wilhelm scream or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then on the balcony, which on the establishing shot of Daniel's building, there is no balcony. But anyway,
Yeah. It's like Friends.
when he's
that
on the balcony,
that
quickly
building
built one.
from that Friends building doesn't actually line up to any of the windows that are actually sort of in the set.
I always thought it was kind of behind.
Yeah,
That
facing
building.
the other building.
Yeah. Anyway, I enjoy that scene because Jack's like, oh shit, I can't grab him or he'll fall. And I think it's played really nicely when Shanksy or when Daniel kind of comes to and he's like, Jack? And he's like, and then he kind of leaps over and grabs his arm. He's like, yeah, all good. I'm like, oh, that's Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll just something comforting about that scene where I thought, it's all good. Jack's there.
See, for me, I'm like, he doesn't notice you. Why not just creep up behind him, wrap your arms around his chest, and pull him back over the balcony?
Oh, that sounds like a just beautiful dream right there. Just
Don't
walking
let go,
up behind
Jack.
Shanksy, just grabbing onto Shanksy from behind and just pulling him in close. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a wet dream right there. But apparently, we don't need to bring Graham back in. But apparently, Shanksy was literally ready to just be like, no, give someone else my part.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't just write this for Carter or Teal'c or someone like that.
Yeah, actually,
Barber
Carter
could have had
would've
a bigger
been-
part.
Well, it would have been good for Carter, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been really good.
He goes, even though I had done it before, I really didn't want to do it the same way, obviously. So it became one of those situations where I was whining to the producers, I've already done this, why don't you get one of the other actors to do it?
Yeah.
Clearly recognising the man's talents, Shanks was persuaded with the view, but you do it so well. So they stroked the fuck out of his ego.
Jesus.
I used to do that with Rhys with the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Rhys, set up the Super Nintendo. Nah, but
You
you're the
do.
best at it.
All right. But yeah,
That
and,
was last week.
I'm a younger sibling as well, Rhys. I know the feeling.
Yeah. and then also, if I said no the second time, I'd get the shit beat out of me.
Yeah,
but-
my mum used to do that with making cups of coffee.
Threatened.
Making cups of coffee when I was about 11 or 12 years old. She told me to make her a cup of coffee because I was, old enough to be around boiling water and all whatever it was. It was like 25 before I realised she was totally playing me because the first time I did it, she was like, "Oh my god, that's the best cup of coffee I've ever had in my entire life. That is so good." It was instant decaf, with milk and no sugar. It's like
what you do
You
with
can't f that up.
Yeah. See, I still.
But she was totally just
I don't know.
stroking
Yeah.
my ego
No.
so that I'd make her coffee.
That milk to water ratio is pretty important.
Yeah, no, honestly though, I've still got that lodged in my memory. A mutual friend of Brennan and I, even Rhys, and he's a big coffee drinker. I'm not at all. I still never had a cup of coffee in my life, and I had to make him one years and years ago. And we had instant. We didn't have a real coffee machine at home. Made him instant, and he had a sip. He's like, "Oh, that's a really good cup of coffee," and I'm like, "It's
Instant
I've had a scoop of coffee and it like half a scoop of sugar, man. Like, how can I f that up? Someone goes, "Oh, that's a really good cup of tea," and I'm like, "That's even less work."
Funny
Honestly, this is 10 years ago, and I'm like, "You condescending prick!" Like, I made you a cup of instant coffee. It wasn't good.
No, see,
it was an instant cup of coffee.
To me, a cup of tea is a work of art. Like, you've got to know how long to leave the bag in there, how strong you want to have
Well,
it.
you know what? In saying
Don't
that,
take it out.
Same friend's mother. I went over to see my mate, and Mum's like, "Oh, do you want a cup of tea?" And I'm like, "Oh, love one." She's like, "How strong do you want it?" I'm like, "No." First, she said, "What kind of tea?" And I'm like, "In the cup." What are you talking about?
A cup of tea?
I like the liquid, not the dinner.
And after getting a full breakdown of all the flavours, I'm like, so English breakfast is closest just to regular black tea, which up until this point I thought was the only type of tea. Sure. She's like, "How strong do you want it?" I'm like, "This is hurting my head."
What
are you talking about?
Questions.
Put a
For her,
tea
she
bag
dipped
in a
it
cup.
and then she'd put it on the
bring it
sink,
to me.
and she'd use it again later. And I'm like,
Oh, that's
"What are you doing?"
wow.
No,
Yeah.
I strained the shit out of my tea. Like, I dipped it,
Yeah.
then I squeezed the spoon up against the side of the thing and dipped it, just strain it. Like,
I
by
like-
the
I
end
like
of it, there was
strong.
nothing left.
Mel, who we used to work with here at the offices, yeah, she'd have a really weak
She
cup of
used to
tea.
live in England. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, she had an English husband, but it was it was warm flavoured milk. Is basically what she drank.
Welcome to Get Into Geek. How do you like your coffee?
But no,
Yeah,
Mitch,
it's just
come
how
to my
good is
place.
this episode when you were just talking about Earl Greys?
Yeah.
Mitch, come to my place, Mitch, and we'll do tea right. I've legit got one of those like wooden boxes with the glass
back
top,
to tea.
with the
Pardon that interruption.
with the different little compartments with the different flavoured tea.
Ooh,
I'm all over that.
Fancy.
Shit. Yep.
It's like you're expecting like an array of guests, you know, like
I just never know what I'm going to feel in the mood for, mate.
I did notice that when Jack went back to the planet again, he said, "How's Daniel doing?" And General Hammond says he slipped into a deep coma, as opposed to a regular coma.
A deep state of coma.
Yeah, this is a deep coma.
They had to make up for last week when Teal'c was talking about Kellner rimming, but without going into a deep state of
and
coma.
because that's what I was about to bring up. He said, I couldn't complete my Kellner ream, and I'm like, obviously, mate, you went deep. Like, this is the first time we've heard you going into just base level Kellner ream, so you couldn't have needed it that bad.
Yeah. I am that angry when I can't complete as well.
I think the thing that I noticed most about this episode was that how easily distracted they were, and it was quite frustrating. But I get that all the time with my kids. If they're on their friggin' iPad or their TV, I'll say their names, and they have no idea that I exist. Like, humans have that in them where they're so easily distracted. Even myself. Like, the other day I was at work, and we're working in this room. My mate goes, "I got to go get this equipment. I'm actually doing Get Into Gate stuff." And then he comes back
Hi
into
to
the
Brendan's
room.
bosses, if they're listening.
Yeah, he comes back into the room, dumps the stuff, and goes, "I got to go to the toilet." And I was still charging along, and it wasn't until like a minute after he left again, I was like, "Oh, was he just here?"
Yeah.
I'm like, this kind of makes sense that how you would if you're actually getting high off it, and it looks great even through the TV, but how addicted we are to gadgets. And we're just so easily distracted.
Yeah. We need to be, mate. Living in this f***ing world.
Sorry, what?
Watching
I was
this
just on my
episode.
phone. What did you guys say? What?
I love getting distracted by my phone when my intent was to go on my phone and do something else.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm like, I've got to check that email, or like I was for work, I had to set up an interview, and I'm like, I've got to go send that text message. So I pull out my phone, and there's a notification from one of you blokes on the messenger chat, and I'm like, good gear, it's a detachment to a video. Watch 3 minutes of video clip. That's fun. Shut it down. Like, oh shit, no, I meant to do that thing. Open it back up, and then as I like close down the messenger app, I see that I've got a couple of Twitter notifications. Like, I'll just have a look at Twitter. Doesn't go to my notifications page. It comes up with just my timeline, and there's like some horrible things going on in American politics. I'm like, I'll just go back through and see what the people I follow think of this. Good gear, Ricky Gervais. Funny, yeah. Those people that killed that animals are hilarious. Shut it back down. 2 hours later, I'm like, holy shit, I still haven't done that work.
I do that when I'm cooking the kids something in the oven. I hate using the bell timer on the oven, so I use my phone. So every time I'll shove the food in, turn it on, go on the phone to do the timer, put on 10 minutes, and then I'll see a notification and just be there and be like, something's burning. I've just gone, shit, I didn't put the timer on. And then, exactly the same thing, put it down without putting the timer on. It's ridiculous.
It does come in handy when you're walking through a shopping centre and then those annoying guys that are trying to like grab you from walking to sell you something where you should buy raffle tickets for a car that they're never going to give away or whatever it is.
I feel like I've mastered that. You know, and depending on...
I just start yelling at the kids, and they don't want anything to do with me.
Do you know what it is? If you're looking at your phone, they'll still grab you. Yeah. The only way they won't is I'll actually hold the phone up to my ear and pretend I'm having a conversation.
Oh, that's basic level. Yeah, you've got to do that. And I've done it, but you got to do it smart. You know, you got to turn it on silent, so you don't want to be called out in case they still grab you.
No one calls me, so it's fine.
And you got to have a one-way conversation. And I'll have it, and it's a weird conversation. I'm always so stressed when I walk past them. But the best one is, like Brendan said, you've got to have your kids. Rather than me, I did yell, but I was genuinely yelling at one of my kids the other day. But is when the kids are there and they're running through the shops, I always run ahead and I'm like, don't run away from me, walk with me, hold onto the trolley. When I can see those people ahead of me, I'm like, wait, James, run as fast as you can. And then he runs and I wait until he's well past those guys and I'm close enough to them and I'm like, don't run, James, come back now, buddy, I've told you. And I'm like, nah, mate, you're good. That was so, man, you were so good fast right there. Good on you. Ball fist pump. Like, I think he knows what he's doing.
I don't have kids to use as props like that.
Yeah. I've been stuck in those situations and you're right, it's a one-sided conversation and you're not even listening to what they're saying, you're just thinking, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah.
What am I going to say to rack off?
I usually just keep walking and go, no thanks. Although there was this one guy, I was walking past, he's like, hey buddy, and I go, no thanks, and he goes, what's your favourite Chinese meal? And I go, cream of some young guy, and just keep walking. I was like, oh, this is the best moment of my life.
No one was here to see it.
Homer Simpson moment.
I love getting the really like the fresh meat guys. They'll go like, oh, g'day, how you going? And you can just go, yeah, good, thanks. It's just you keep walking and don't break your stride. You're just like, mate, rookie error. You've made a mistake there straight away. You're giving me a chance to answer something without stopping.
Yeah, because they just stare at you until you look back at them, like as if to say, why the f*** are you staring at me? And they go, hey, mate. And then say, it's like, you can tell the veterans because they're just straight into the conversation.
I hate the ones that they go, oh, what a cute baby. And I'm like, don't butter me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is. He doesn't like talking to you either.
What are you, a pedophile?
Yeah,
get out of here.
Don't make me blow my rat whistle.
People knock on my door all the time. Even though I've got that sticker that says do not knock, they still knock. And I'll go and
I didn't
answer
know that existed.
Oh, yeah.
Don't knock.
Go to your local councillor's office.
And then print it.
You can get it from Bunnings.
A note with a backwards K. Off.
Knock here, die.
Just go to the letterbox number section of Bunnings. They've got them there. You're fine.
Oh, nice. But yeah, they knock on my door and then they do the spiel, saying they don't take a breath, they don't ask you questions, they just keep talking at you. And I'll stop them. I go, excuse me, what are you selling? And they'll, just no thanks before they even finish telling me, not interested. Have a great day.
Yeah. So the guys in the shops, I do anything to walk past them, but then I'll walk past them, actively avoiding them with every means of my ability to go to Coles to do grocery shopping, and then I see a guy like I did yesterday giving out free like juice samples. I'm like, please stop me, please stop me, please stop me, please stop me. And he's just sitting there like, what's the point? And he doesn't stop me, and I'm like, man, I really wanted some of that apple blackcurrant juice. Damn it. But I don't want to go and ask because then I see him like, hey man, I'm just here for free samples.
Can I get one for my friend as well?
Kids, you want some juice?
No, I'll have 3.
You know what I love about this episode? Here we are, like the good chunk of this episode that is about them getting distracted, and that we unintentionally, it wasn't like we sat in a pre-production meeting going, hey, let's go off on random tangents, but because we didn't like this episode so much, we went off on like 17 different annoying tangents, like you said. So
finding ways to distract ourselves from this horrible
absolutely
episode.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, so we don't want to jump into a kawoosh. Can only do it once.
Oh no, this is the highlight of this episode for me, was when Jack comes back to the base and Daniel's on his deathbed and he's starting to get the shit, smashes the thing, and Fraser's like, Colonel, are you all right? What kind of a dumbass question is that? I was just like, oh my, every time I watch it, I rewind it because I just love that. It's so brutal.
I didn't mind Hammond versus Jackson, though. That wasn't too bad.
You know, it is beyond my comprehension how anybody like yourself who has so much power can miss the point entirely.
Hey, knock it off.
It's all right, Colonel. This letter is to Lieutenant Barber's family, explaining that he died in the service of country. I've spent the last 2 hours on it. I can't tell them anything about how he died or anything about the work he did here, only that he's gone. Do you get the point?
Mic drop.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right there.
that's so good.
But it's like Daniel being pissy at the start. It's like that could have been a scene taken from last week when he was evil Daniel.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why I
quite
feel
easily.
like last week was kind of a repeat of the week before, where it was, the alternate timeline thing from the week before, and then last week was, is this one or not? No, it's a bit of a dream sequence with an evil Daniel. And then this was like, well, you got a little bit of an evil Daniel type thing going on again. So it's just like they really sort of flowed in. Like if you had some, like if that was, you did like a 3-episode marathon of those 3, like there was some weird repeats, I think.
Just some Shanksy creeping in there.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happened with
and
that.
I couldn't even listen to the audio commentary for this one because A, I didn't want to sit through the episode again, and B, director was Peter West, so I was like, he's not as boring as Andy Makita in terms of commentaries, but I ain't sitting through it.
I don't think I've picked up on that guy's name before. Is he?
I think he's originally like a second unit or an AD or something like that, and every now and then he gets to direct an episode.
So this isn't his first crack?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Is it his last?
I think the thing
No,
that
he's like a permanent, like even when he's not directing, he's like a what do you
Gopher.
call it? No. He's what do you call it? The not camera
Producer.
operator.
Fondler.
No, like the
fluffer.
the lighting director or something like that.
Turns the lights on.
Cinematographer?
Yeah, something like that. I'll look it up. Hold on.
Lighting
Focus
director.
puller.
No, he's higher up than that.
Why does General Hammond need to spend 2 hours on a letter? Wouldn't he have just like a default letter from the SG1 outbox?
Anything less than
SG11 outbox, I mean.
Anything less than SG3, he's like, that's a template job.
Yeah.
Like if it's like major haircut gets killed, he's like, no, I'm working on this.
Yeah.
Clear my afternoon. It's like
Personalisation.
SG4 and below, it's like,
And he mentions
I
that
don't
it's
know
like
them.
he can't tell their family what's
anything.
happening, what he's been doing or anything like that. So it's like, well, what could he be writing?
Dead.
Maybe that's why it took him,
2 hours.
2 hours to do it. He's trying to think of something else. Like,
He
I'm
was,
sorry that I selected him to come over to the program from only to kill himself.
And Colonel at the end of that meeting goes, "Can you just put down that he owes me $100 to the family?"
Director of photography. That's who Peter West is.
Oh yeah, God yeah.
Director of
Family's like, can we at least
Peter
have
West.
his dog tags?
Photography.
is that cinematographer? That's cinematographer, isn't it? Director of photography?
Oh yeah,
like
pretty much.
Oh yeah, probably the same thing. Oh yeah, the director of photography is under the cinematographer tab
Right.
of his IMDb.
Right.
He did 94 episodes as
Sheesh.
director of photography. He ended up directing 11 episodes of SG1 and 1 episode of Atlantis. Oh shit! He did 8 episodes of Sliders as well.
Oh, well, hang on a second.
Boom.
Credit where credit's due.
That's got to be our
Absolutely.
next podcast.
Holy
If we can find
shit,
somewhere
yes.
to watch it.
Mate, I've got the first 2 seasons at home on DVD.
Do you?
Yes, I do. 3 and 4 it might be a bit hard to find, but
We might put that to like a listener or a Twitter poll or something like that, because Brendan and I think are kind of set on doing Farscape next. But Sliders isn't too bad.
I'm not sure how a 2-man podcast will go.
yeah. I mean, I know how a 2-man Sliders podcast will go. Pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Writes itself.
What if you could travel to 1,000 different worlds? Ah, yes. Take me, Jerry O'Connell.
Portable Stargate? Say no more.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought you guys
You're
were
tied to the one place.
I thought you guys were threatening on Twitter the other day that you were going to do a Star Trek podcast with me after.
Yeah, that was a joke.
You know what would be worse?
Obviously.
We do a Star Trek podcast without you. How annoying.
It's funnier if we get your hopes up.
The whole thing is just box of shame because Matty saw Star Trek.
Speaking of James Phillips, obviously this is his only writing credit. But in this episode, before going to the planet, O'Neill says that they will have to go through MOP 2, which is Mission-Oriented Protective Posture Level 2. Really sounds like someone wanted to call it MOP. But in fact, when they go through the gate, they're in MOP 3, guys.
Oh, idiots.
Oh, my God.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I like how you say
Classic.
it's his only writing credit, like it's his only writing credit. Like he does this, they're like, thanks for your time. He's like, okay, it's back to accounting for me.
It's time to find out if Rhys has been paying
attention.
Yeah. Get this right, India. Some trivia questions here. We got 5 questions.
Ooh.
Do they relate to this episode?
Look, I'm not going to say that this week.
Are they gimmies?
Absolute gimmies.
Are they short answer questions or essay
Yes.
questions?
We all know the rules. Let's
not
go.
multiple choice, that's for sure. 30 seconds on the clock. Your time starts
At the end of the first question.
after the... What? Yeah.
What?
True or false?
True.
99942 Apophis is a large moon that was named in 2005 by astronomers David Tholen and Roy Tucker. Both fans of the show.
Don't know if that was a short answer.
Yeah, true.
False.
Oh, well, I'm giving
It's not a moon. It was an asteroid.
That's a trick.
In the episode, The Light, what happened to Lieutenant Barber?
He got kiboshed.
Correct. Which SG team died?
5.
Why did Lauren's parents die?
The lava lamp.
Yeah, I'll give you that. According to Tilk, what do the children of the Tari enjoy despite having no function?
Toy guns.
Correct.
And birthdays.
So,
That was a fucking ridiculous question. I'm like, well, as you were saying it, I'm like, the second guy's last name is probably wrong. Like it's classic you.
And I looked down when Rhys answered it, and we'd used up 15 of the 30
seconds. They're short answer questions. They're just not short question questions.
Oh, it's 50-50.
True or false? When I was at home by myself last night watching this, I was eating salt and vinegar chips and drinking a bourbon.
correct. True.
Idiot. Cheese and onion.
False. It wasn't just a bourbon. It was all the bourbon.
Oh my god. That was so fun. So 99942 Apophis is a large asteroid that was named in 2005. Yeah. Because these guys were
and
fans
what was
of
your
the
trick
show.
Part? You said it was a moon.
I said it was a moon. So
Right.
gotcha.
Well,
That's no moon. It's a.
technically, it's orbiting a planet right now, so...
No, it's not.
How do you know?
It's orbiting the sun.
Well...
So
So do planets and moons.
Moons orbit planets.
Yeah, and planets orbit suns.
Yeah.
And suns orbit God.
Good call. In the yeah.
We'll
So
start to fall off this.
Lieutenant Barber committed suicide via vortex. SG5 died. Lauren's parents died from withdrawals, or I would have accepted they were idiots.
Or drowning.
Yeah. Did they drown though? I thought they just kept running.
Into the water, and then their bodies washed up on the beach.
How do you keep running in water?
Exactly. That's why they drowned.
Oh, how did he die?
Exactly. They were idiots.
How did they die? They ran to death.
They Forrest Gumped.
Yeah, but then they fell into a deep, deep coma.
Yeah, just at the beach 100 metres away.
Was there a sign?
Hate you.
100 metres this way.
You're a with your asteroid question.
They can't have gotten out too far if their bodies washed back up on the beach the next day.
Yeah, well, Lauren is shit at digging graves. We've come across that.
Maybe he was great.
Lauren's also shit at being an adolescent.
The tide maybe just come in.
Probs. And piled up rocks directly behind them.
Mate, they were...
And,
dynamic.
colourful weapons that have no function. So anyway, this is what Daniel Jackson has to say.
Rhys, your father made you wrong!
Pretty sure that's genetic, though.
You never were that bright.
One of the great quotes.
You stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah. All right, that's episode 84 of Get Into Geek. We apologise, but hey, we had some fun.
Hey, we didn't write it.
No, we apologise for the episode. We apologise we all had to go through it. But hey, that just means we get to move on. Next week, episode 85, Prodigy. That's on the next Stargate SG1. All right, until then, you can find all of our old podcasts on our podcasting channel. Search Get Into Geek, a Stargate podcast. Find us on the socials, like, subscribe, share, all that sort of gear. Stay in touch with the show, Get Into Gate. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or drop us a line, getintogate@gmail.com. You can be part of the show, contribute
Absolutely.
behind the
you
scenes.
can follow the light to Patreon.
Bang.
And jump on board with that. Patreon.com/getintogate.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought some of the tangents we went on in this episode were special, wait till the ones we've saved for the exclusives. Oh, yeah, you can thank us later. Individually, you can find us, Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. For myself, Matty.
Yeah, High Pitch Matty, let me know which episode's worse, this or Bloodlines.
Okay. This one.
Yeah, this one.
Okay. It wasn't for you guys, it was for people on socials.
Oh, right.
But,
They can agree with
I
us.
thought if I went this and First Commandment, it was obviously going to be this. So I thought I'd go a little bit higher than First Commandment, but not that much higher. So that's why I went with Bloodlines. Sorry.
Good story.
Brendan.
At the Brendan Gibson.
And Rhys.
I'm at the Flying Gibson.
See you back next week for episode 85, Prodigy.
Oh, we should have fired off some Firestarter.
I can do that.
From the band Prodigy.
Here's something I prepared earlier.
GetIntoGeek.com.